hitting you with the best music on all FLAVAS Radio. If you like what you're hearing, spread the word. And now, here's another one.
Well, children, where there is so much racket, there must be something out of kilter. I think that twixt the Negroes of the South and the women at the North all talking about rights, the white man will be in a fix pretty soon. But what's all this here talking about? That man over there says that women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and to have the best place everywhere. Nobody ever helps me into carriages or over mud puddles or gives me any best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at me. Look at my arm. I have plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could head me. And ain't I a woman? I could work as much and eat as much as a man when I could get it, and bear the lash as well. And ain't I a woman? I have borne 13 children and seen most all sold off to slavery. And when I cried out with my mother's grief, none but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman? Then they talk about this thing in the head. What's this they call it? That's it, honey. What's that got to do with women's rights or Negro rights? If my cup won't hold but a pint and yours holds a quart, wouldn't you be mean not to let me have my little half measure full? When that little man in black there, he says women can't have as much rights as men because Christ wasn't a woman. Where did your Christ come from? Where did your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Man had nothing to do with him. If the first woman God ever made was strong enough to turn the world upside down all alone, these women together ought to be able to turn it back and get it right side up again. And now, they is asking to do it. The men better let them. Obliged to you for hearing me. And now old Sojourner ain't got nothing more to say.
Back then.
How are you all doing out there in all FLAVAS land? It's the Drive Time Show. Let's talk Drive Time Show. I am Wimbo77.
And I am actually Lily.
How are you all doing out there? How are you all doing out there, listeners? What a beautiful, beautiful day we had today, Lily.
I was locked inside.
Oh, hush, I'm sorry. Polly.
Polly.
We were out, got things done here and then able to get out and take the kids to the park even today.
Nice.
Which was lovely. And it just feels so good to get that sun that we've all been longing for onto our skin, top up the melanin. And it just gives you a whole new lease of life. Would you agree?
It does. It's so refreshing to have a bit of sunshine.
So what have you...
Yeah.
Yes, what have you all been doing out there yourselves? Have you been able to bask in the sun? The start end was absolutely glorious as well. So we've had a good start.
We have.
Would you say?
Took a nice drive yesterday, actually.
Oh, where did you go?
South London.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Where to South London?
Just a drive. Just dropped a friend off somewhere.
Yeah.
A bit further than we expected, but it was nice. It was nice to get out, get a bit of sun. Not been feeling very well, so it's like it gave us that little boost.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you have to be out of the house to feel a bit better. So yeah, it was quite nice.
I think we went to the wetlands. So there's wetlands on the east side and there's a wetlands on the west side.
Okay.
And so we went on the east on Saturday. That takes you down to Walthamstow. Oh, the views are just amazing. And then we went on the west side. Never been there before. And loads of swans.
Wow.
The waterway. So it is actually, I think it's the reservoirs, but you can do walks there.
Okay.
And yeah, absolutely beautiful. So the only you saw the cygnets, little tiny birds, the little baby ducks, and the cygnets, little baby swans. And the only thing was the people traffic. I think the people traffic.
There's a lot of people out, yeah.
Yeah.
It's because they're allowed out the house now. I say allowed out the house. It's because they've been locked up for so long.
Yeah.
And then you get one little piece of sunshine. You got to make the most of it.
That's
You
right.
really do.
See sun, get out there and bathe.
Yeah.
Because it might
Definitely.
be snowing tomorrow. Especially in the UK, you know, that's how it is. And also shouting out all the DJs that done an amazing job over the start end, and Mark Philogene and DJ Slim yesterday for your two great shows. You can catch Mark Philogene on a Monday and Sunday, and DJ Slim on a Monday and Thursday. Beautiful music, absolutely just kept us going anyway over the start end with entertainment as well. So today's National Day. Notice what it was.
Today's National Day is National Say Something Nice Day.
Say something nice day. Isn't that
Say
great?
something nice.
Yeah. So did you say something nice to anyone today?
Yeah, I always say something nice. I always say something nice. I can't remember what I said today, but I've said a few nice things, I think.
So if it's in your nature, then this day is like again, say something nice day is every day.
Yeah.
Not just a day, but obviously we're highlighting the type of day that it is. And it says the 1st of June. Oh, 1st of June. It's scary. Extra pleasant for everyone. The purpose of this holiday is to counteract bullying and the lack of civility and common courtesy that is growing among people in today's world.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. And because it says if we practice saying something nice today, we'll continue into all tomorrows.
It's true. It's says if you when we were young, many of us often heard, if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. And I actually said those words to Jayla the other day. But it should be, I don't think it should be don't say nothing at all. I think you should be forced to try and find something nice to say. Like today is forcing us to say something nice, which
We do on a
sometimes that can
daily
be very
anyway.
hard.
Yeah. And if someone's sort of ticked you off or something, it's easier to get mad and say something nasty
Yeah.
than put the stopper on, like you say, the little let the not the 18-year-old Lily come out, and to either, like you said, I think sometimes saying nothing at all does help.
There was a number of times today I had to lock 18-year-old Lily away. A number of times today. Just the gumption of some people. And it's in those moments where you just have to just hold your tongue. You know, you say hold your tongue. But today, say something nice day. So maybe I should have replaced those hold your tongue moments with, even though this person is just so amazing.
It
Say
says
something
that
nice.
if we say something nasty,
Yeah.
we can't take it back.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part of it. We might have said something really cruel, something, whatever it is that we've said that we feel guilt about when we've thought about it, you know, and it's out.
And
It's
just
out
said
there
it
on
off
the
the cuff
ether.
or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's out there on the ether. So it does lead to many more tomorrows if we say something nice. And it says, do you pay attention to compliments, Leish? When someone gives you a compliment?
Yeah, but I'm also that person that someone will give a compliment to and I'd get a bit embarrassed.
Own it.
I know they do say that, don't they? But it's not easy.
I know.
Or we make an excuse as to why
Yeah.
something that you said to me. Like, for example, when I went out on Saturday and got quite a few compliments on my outfit, and me being me, went and told everybody about the outfit and how it was constructed, and instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, thanks, I know."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you have, like you're saying, own a compliment. Someone gives you a compliment, just say thank you. But I get quite embarrassed sometimes.
It's hard. So when someone does say something nice, perhaps, you know, It says a little bit of both, but there are other lessons we can learn from generally nice people. It's more than just saying nice things as well. So they generally listen to others and put others first when they pay a compliment. It isn't usually practiced, so it's genuinely coming, it's authentic, and their sincerity is felt by the receiver. So when someone is authentic and they do say something nice from the heart, we generally feel it as well, as opposed to, like it said, being practiced.
Yeah.
Can you sense when someone's like not being sincere?
Yes.
Really?
A lot of the time, yeah. And they're saying, they're asking a question with a smile on their face, but they don't really want to know the answer. They're just being a bit sarcastic and
through gritted
or
teeth.
prying, saying it through, oh congratulations, really. They're like, yeah.
So it's learning to be
quite a lot.
Learning to be authentic. So it says there, how to observe it. How do we observe this now?
Think about the nicest person you know. Take a cue from them and put one of their better qualities into practice. Say something nice to or about someone, so it doesn't have to be to them, or it can be about them. Bring a smile to someone's face for the sheer joy of seeing them smile. Seek no reward other than knowing that someone's day is better because a nice word was said. And what you do is you use the hashtag say something nice day and post on social media. So hashtag say something nice day. So with all your pictures that you're Instagramming and your TikToks and your whatnots, you're hashtagging say something nice day.
It's funny because I was with friends yesterday, and Sue, bless her soul, said she's such a lovely person. I said, you're so sweet. And she goes, yeah, but such and such is sweeter than me. I said, no, you're sweet. You know, and this is, like it says, they think about the nicest person, you know, and how they are, isn't it?
Yeah.
Take a cue from them and learn from their qualities, perhaps. Because we all have flaws, we all have letdowns as well. So if we can look at someone and think, oh, that's a really beautiful quality, you know, I'm going to try and kind of put that into practice myself.
Yeah.
That's kind of helpful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so National Say Something Day. So it says Mayor Keith's summary of North Charleston, South Carolina, proclaimed June the 1st as Say Something Nice Day in 2006. So it's relatively new. And it was in recognition of the communication efforts of specialist Dr. Mitch Carnell, founder of the day. Carnell is also the author of Say Something Nice, Be a Lifter at Work. Oh yes, because you lift people up, don't you? And the South Baptist Convention and the Charleston Atlantic Presbytery joined with Carnell to establish the day. So that's great, isn't it? So at that point there, that he's written this book, Carnell's written this book, Say Something Nice, Be a Lifter at Work. So when we say something nice to people, that's what it generally does, doesn't it?
Sometimes it's hard though to be a lifter at work when everyone else is on a downer.
Yeah.
Like there are days when, you know, there's just negativity coming from all areas. And it's very hard to not find something nice to say, but to even want to be in conversation. Yeah. Because we can be in our own funk as well. Dependent on the way that we've woken up, or this is why the importance of having that little 2020. Remember, there's a book, the 5 a.m. Club. Yeah. And it's a 20-20-20. And he highlights 20 minutes meditation, 20 minutes of training, 20 minutes of reading. And that sets you up for the day. And it really does. It really, really does. Why are you smiling at me? Like, who has 60 minutes in the morning? I know you do. But I just must cherish sleep way too much.
Did you hear what the book's called?
5 a.m. Club.
Okay, the 5 a.m. Club. It's a brilliant book. Robin Sharma. Really, really good book. It's not just that, because you could, I guess, the day is just
but you set your day up to go. Yeah. Does make sense.
You know, and it really does work. It does.
I just feel like I've been sleep deprived for the last 6 years, and I'm trying to catch up.
Don't worry, it doesn't get any better. You know, but that wasn't something nice, was it? It doesn't get any better.
It does.
It will get better.
I'm hoping it does, yeah.
It will get better. So there are 1,500 national days, guys, so don't miss a single one. And I think today there was about 5, but I thought this was really, really nice one, Say Something Nice Day. # Say Something Nice. So today in history, the poem that we heard at the beginning, that was Sojourner Truth. An amazing woman. I've never heard of her before.
Never.
She was abolitionist and speaker in 1843. Yeah. She was a former slave.
Okay.
Yeah, former slave. She became an outspoken advocate for abolition, temperance and civil and women's rights in the 19th century. And she also done civil work war that earned her an invitation to meet President Abraham Lincoln in 1684. It's lovely, isn't it? So Sojourner Truth, 1797 to 1883. And, she was also a writer.
Yeah.
She worked very hard during the Civil War, and as we spoke of, spoke a lot on abolitionists.
Abolitionist.
Right, on that. So
that should be that's our word for today. Abolitionist. Use it in a sentence.
Oh, you went for the word to the day for today. It's quite an interesting one, and I think we will be able to slip it in. We will be able to slip it in today. So, she was born Isabella Bomfrey.
Yeah, I saw that. Isabella Bomfrey, a slave in Dutch-speaking Ulster County, New York. I didn't know they spoke Dutch in New York.
I didn't even know that the Dutch went in.
I know,
as slave traders. The Dutch.
No, they did, because they colonized places like what's it called, Curaçao, because they speak something called Papiamento, which is Spanish and Dutch mixed, but it's written exactly how it sounds. It's a really weird looking language. But I met someone from there, and he had a European Union passport because they were still under the Dutch.
Wow.
Yeah. So a lot of those small, like little
islands,
spotted islands that no one really hears much of, they were still colonized. Dutch, French and Spanish and
I think more the Dutch going into Africa sometimes, as opposed to like South Africa. That's what I think of them going in there.
But if they went
as
into
opposed
Africa?
to there. Yes, they went to
the Americas.
What was the name of the islands? Curaçao.
Curaçao, and I think there's a couple of other little islands as well.
That's really interesting. So to hear that, but it says that this one was New York.
That's random.
In 1797.
It's really random.
And she was sold 4 times.
Oh gosh.
Harsh physical labour, and then I think she escaped. I'm sure I have read this story. I've got a book on a woman that she hides in this box and she gets away. And it says that she ran away with her infant Sophia to a nearby abolitionist family.
So sorry, guys.
It's just not registering in my brain. Abolitionist family, the Van Wagens, that bought her freedom.
That's I'm wondering if they were of the
Dutch.
That's definitely a Dutch name, but they're not black.
No. Don't forget, during this time as well, there were people that were against the slave movement.
Yeah.
And I saw something, I'm thinking this same year, I think they had the date wrong because it was January the 1st and not June 1st that slavery was abolished. Not in all of America, because some of the states, they were like, nope, we're not having it. But then come a certain point, and then Abraham Lincoln did put out that.
Because we're soon to celebrate Juneteenth.
Oh, yes, of course. Of course.
The day that it was finalised.
Yes, yeah. So within the month.
Yeah.
We were talking about this not too long ago as well, weren't we? Juneteenth. So she ran away. We're talking about truth, Sojourner Truth, and we listened to her poem right at the beginning there. She moved to New York in 1828. The dates are really random, aren't they? They're sort of when she was born, because she was born in 1797. Oh wow, through to 83. So she lived a long, good old life. Okay, but we're talking about Sojourner Truth, and she was an advocate for civil rights women's movements in the 19th century, which is fabulous. And she, this family that bought the family's freedom, but the slave owners kept her children.
Yeah, and she was able to sue them for the return of her 5-year-old son Peter, who was illegally sold into slavery in Alabama.
So they were still doing it, pinching the children, same as what's going on.
Like what's going on now, yeah.
Yes, yeah. I saw young boys cycling today, no parents. I was like, and I was on eggshells today in the park.
Yeah.
I was like, because I had 3 of them.
Oh wow!
I had my niece and my little ones, and I was like, "No, stay together, stay in front." It was just nerve-wracking.
It's very hard to walk down the street with them and not be a little bit panicky. But I made something. I think it was a snapshot or something the other day when I was talking about being on high alert. Because you're going to still see children are going to go to school by themselves. Children are going to be out on the road by themselves. Yeah. Because the parents are at work.
Yeah. So just again, vigilance.
Yeah.
So she was able to meet William Lloyd Garrison, Frederick Douglass. Yeah.
Wow.
And she gave speeches, which was amazing. They were saying that one thing that she gave a speech at, and it was all white men. Obviously, she's talking about abolishing slavery. She's speaking about all the things they do not want to hear. And it turns out they just wanted to lynch her. They really wanted to go for it. And then she prayed to the Lord, and she says what she did. And then she started singing, and it kind of appeased their spirit. And they left her alone. Amazing, isn't it?
Wow.
Absolutely amazing. She also met people like Elizabeth Cady Stanton. I thought that was Candy Stanton, you know, the singer, but no. And Susan B. Anthony. They were temperance advocates, and they quickly joined forces together. So she was an amazing woman.
She's done a lot.
I know.
She's done a lot in her life.
Yeah. So we know the Harriet Tubmans, but there was so much people speaking in the behalf of their fellow slaves or fellow humans, and this is one of them. She was an amazing woman. She wrote that speech. That was the one that we heard right at the beginning of the show, and
it says she was honoured. She was honoured with an invitation to the White House and became involved with the Freedoms Bureau, helping freed slaves find jobs and build new lives. Whilst in Washington DC, she lobbied against segregation, and in the mid-1860s, when a streetcar conductor tried to violently block her from riding, she ensured his arrest and won her subsequent case. Things like this I find very interesting, because we only hear about the Rosa Parks when actually someone before Rosa Parks made that stand, and then someone before that person had obviously made a stand, because she did it in the 1860s. So,
and she took him to court.
Yeah, she won.
Good for her. Do you know she had no law background, nothing. She couldn't read, she couldn't write. Someone wrote her speeches down for her. Yet she got so much done in that sense. She stood up.
Slaves' land. Yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah. So let's Sojourner Truth, an amazing woman. Really look into her. And we were talking about Say Something Nice, how we can learn from our ancestors, what they instill in us that we can take away and work with. It's a bit like that Sasha lady last week. She is speaking for rights and stuff. So we're still doing it. But learning from these ones and what they did, and even with no education, how much they accomplished. I think she's a really amazing woman. I want to look a bit more into her. And she delivered a famous speech called "Ain't I a Woman?" And that's just what we just listened to that, you know. And she spoke on some amazing things there, in the sense of, you say that I'm a woman, and a woman should be lifted up into a carriage and all this stuff, but you ain't doing that for me.
Yeah.
So basically, she saw through the folly of the ways from being a black woman at that time, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
She's very inspirational, actually. Just to see all that she accomplished in a time when she was black and she was a woman. She's done quite a lot. That's quite a lot in her life.
Yeah, before slavery had been finished. So what does it take? What courage does it take to stand up?
A lot.
Speak.
A lot. Because even in a room where there are not a lot of voices against you, sometimes it's very hard to be that person that speaks up and says, actually, you're wrong. We was talking about something today, and I'm not going to specify what it was, but we was talking about something today, and inside me, I felt like the others that were making the points were wrong. But at that point, I had no confidence to say that, because they've always got a comeback. They've always got a justification. They've always got, at sometimes, the upper hand. And it can just become so draining to try and get people to understand your point, and to get people to... You don't want to be argumentative. I was listening to... what's his name? Carnegie's How to Make Friends, Win Friends and Influence People this morning. And he makes the point that you don't want to argue with the person. You want to give them the idea, yes, but make them feel like they have come up with the idea, so that they eventually support your idea. And I do see that happening in the workplace when it comes to people of our caliber. I'm going to use that word now, caliber, because I don't like this ED&I and BAME nonsense. When it comes to people of our caliber, they don't understand us, and they don't understand why we are fighting for certain things. And I felt that was partially there in this conversation that we had today. But we're still doing something about it. It's not very obvious that we're trying to prove a point, but in the process that is happening at the moment, it's going to be shown that you try to say we didn't have a foot to stand on, when actually here's the evidence that we do. And sometimes you can't just come out and say that. You can't just say, no, you're wrong, this has been happening for years and we want to change. That's never ever going to work, especially when it comes to the opposition that we're coming up against. So now we have to find that she's very open, she's very blunt, she's taken people to court and said, you didn't let me get your bus, you're a fool, give me your money. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing.
And New York was a free state. For one of the North was relatively free. There was some states there that wasn't, but she had every right to get there, to do it. So that's why a lot of slaves fled to Canada and to New York, which they could buy their freedom in that sense. And even ones that bought their freedom, they used to go up there and pinch them and take them, back. And no, she wasn't having it. She really was not having it. And because it says he tried to violently block her from riding when in fact she had every right to be there. And like you said, you felt a certain way and should have been able to speak out. But it's the strength
that she shows as a woman and as a black woman, because there's two things there that our society at the moment are putting against us, and
we spoke about that, the strength of a black woman that can bring her down.
And sometimes it's very draining to try and be that person. But she's so empowered. She's empowered herself. The family that freed her empowered her. So as controversial as it may feel, she still had to go to the others to get that support. Do you know what I mean? She still had to have one of them on her side. And if you feel like that's my thing, if there's no one there that understands where you're coming from,
it makes it a bit more
difficult. So you have to get your codees. You have to get people that are on, not even on the same level as you, but even partially on your side, so that you can start filtering through that information.
The thing is, even though we'd speak of the others in that sense, we've got to recognise that we've all just got to work together.
Exactly.
And some can't and don't want to. But some will. That's what that showed us with the Wergener family that bought her freedom. £20. That must have been a lot back then.
It's a lot of money.
So it's a matter of working together. And it is a them and us, but only to the ones that are because in the States I saw this documentary, they still have anti-Nazism. I can't think of the right word. Is fascism.
Man, they got Nazis.
Ku Klux Klan is still very rife, and a lot of people in Senate and state and Congress are amongst those kind of people.
Those are all the people that have is it the Confederate flag hanging outside their house and stuff like that? Yeah.
Okay, so it's still very rampant and apparent that a lot of black slaves went forward in the Civil War for their freedom. Yet still, when Barack Obama went into office, there was uproar. Yeah, the KKK. Then it multiplied. Yeah, and these things shouldn't be happening in our day. Surely we should be living more freely together and embracing who each of us are. But sadly, it doesn't go that way.
I do feel like sometimes the positive others are a drop in the ocean because I feel like they get so overshadowed by the ugly side of them. Yeah. That's all we really see, and there may be, in a group of 10, there may only be 1 or 2 racists, but they're the ones that are going to stand out, and then the ones that aren't racist, there might be 3 or 5 that they're not, but they're too scared to stand up for themselves, so then they look like they are because they're not speaking out for us. And then there's those ones that are really vocal. I know I talk about TikTok too much, but I see a lot of them being the educators and trying to be the ones that are saying to their, their people that actually we're wrong and this is right. But for each one, there's always someone that's even with us. It's the same with us, isn't it?
Because I've seen that side as well, this start end, where we should be coming together, and we're so far removed from each other. This is why we can find ourselves in the situation that we're in. But we will speak more on that after the break, and we'll be doing our word for the day. See y'all in 5. Turn was Light of the World with Bahia. So welcome back. How are you doing out there, listeners? I forgot to say what the question of the week was. I think we've not put it in the chat room yet, have we, Lily? But the question of the week is it all right to date your friend's ex? We will be just discussing that a little bit later on. And, sometimes things aren't controversial. Some things are, but is it all right to date your friend's ex or your sibling's ex, or, is that okay to do that? All right. So going on from the National Say Something Nice Day, and Sojourner Truth, word of the day, Lily.
The word of the day today is... my word has gone funny. I can't see. Sorry, it's too small. The word of the day today is...
You see it?
Anfractus. Oh, I said that wrong. Anfractuous.
Anfractuous.
Anfractuous. And it means full of windings and intricate turnings. Tortuous.
Interesting word, isn't it? Anfractuous.
Anfractuous.
Plots and paths can be anfractuous. So we went on a walk to the wetlands, and the path, I must say, was rather anfractuous.
Getting it in a sentence earlier, I see. Okay, so it says, never mind the English word, comes from the Latin verb. Comes from the Latin verb frangere. That's really different, meaning to break. Frangere is also the source of fracture, fraction, fragment, and frail. That's very interesting. But one of the steps between frangere and anfractus is Latin anfractus, which means coil and bend. So it was like a broken bend.
Broken arm. Bend your arm, you break it.
Oh, yeah.
Frangere. There you go. Coil bend, the prefix here means around.
Around.
So going around. So the path was so anfractuous that we had to find a path around it. No, because anfractuous means around.
No, anfractuous means full of windings and intricate turning. So the actual path is anfractuous, and you,
It says there that the ears and the auditory canals anfractuosity, because it is quite bendy in the eardrum, isn't it? It goes up and down. Yes. Once you get past the ossicles.
Look at you throwing an extra word.
The ossicles are the bones that you find in the ears.
Oh, they're the tiniest bones of the body, aren't they?
Yes, the tiniest bones in the body.
See, I knew that.
There you go.
I knew that.
Ossicles. I think they are ossicles. Yes, they are. So anfractuous, beautiful listeners. So if you would like to call in, the line's open from 7 o'clock, 07895 134 713. And in your answers, maybe you can use, dependent on what we're speaking about, you can use that word anfractuous in your sentence. And like we say, it's always good to build our vocabulary, isn't it? So get word of your day, or get a word of the day in your inbox every single day.
Yes.
Hey. Oh.
So I'm seeing here school day to be extended in England.
Yes.
But why?
Apparently they want to catch up.
Yeah, but what about the children that don't need to catch up?
Well, it says the government's considering it, but then an Oxford study showed that it's not going to make any difference. The children won't catch up.
No, because they'll. So I also read a study that said children start school too early.
Yeah, well, I know is it Sweden, they start from about 7 years old, isn't it?
No, as in during the day.
Oh, what, 9 o'clock?
Yes, too early. So the person that was making the point was saying that children should have a day that starts from about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
That space between 8:30ish and 9:30, 10, their brains are still readjusting to the daytime, so getting used to learning and things like that. So learning should start at 10 o'clock.
Okay. Makes sense. And I know in Spain that they have a siesta, or they go half day. So they have some children that will go, say, 10 till 1. And then they have another set of students that will go at a different time later on in the afternoon. I don't know if they...
I thought they just had siesta in the middle.
No, I think they swap
home
over
for lunch.
I'm not too sure. But I know that they have like 2 sets.
Can't have half day
let me
school.
wrong. Why? But look at this. How long were your lessons?
An hour.
Right. And even for an adult, being in uni all day is a lot.
Yeah, but you're programmed, I'm using that word now, you're programmed as a child to get used to a 9 to 5 day. Sorry, to get used to a 9 to 3 day, a 6-hour day.
It's too long. For me personally, it's too long. Especially
But
the
was
little
that
ones.
because you was out of education for a while before you went back to uni?
No, because I'm just saying that I think 45 minutes for, mind you, it's a class of students.
Yeah.
And you've got to get around all those students. Whereas you were saying, I'm sure the other day, that they'd give you the work and you'd be finished.
Yeah, in the first few minutes. See, okay, so this is the thing. At primary school level, they're not doing hour-long lessons. It's just kind of a smorgasbord of it. This is how I see primary school. I don't know.
Okay.
Someone please correct me. But I see it as a smorgasbord of information. They do a bit of art and craft. They do a bit of English. They do a bit of maths. And they don't spend ridiculously long on one topic. I know for a fact that some children, most, 15 minutes is when you got their attention.
That's good if you got 15 minutes.
Right. So no one is sitting a child of under year 6 age down, maybe year 6 age, but not for an hour.
No, it's
That's
too
not
long.
happening.
Yeah.
But then when I got to secondary school, the lessons were an hour, 45 minutes, between 45 minutes and an hour. I feel like there was an hour.
Unless it was a double lesson.
And yeah, if the work that they handed out in the beginning of a class, this is your instruction, if there weren't any challenging tasks, then I'd be done in 20, 30 minutes.
And I found, from what I recall, that a lot of the teachers didn't really give you the time of day anyway. They just give you a worksheet, work through it. But they're not really
There was no teaching.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds really bad. There was teaching. No, I'm not going to paint them all with the same brush. But they weren't... Like, now I am a educator. I see the work that goes into prepping a lesson, and I see the interaction that needs to happen in a lesson. You know, you're a teacher.
Yeah.
So we know the processes that are involved in making sure each student has taken something from that lesson. Okay, you're going to get it from the
top set.
You're going to get it from the exam or the test that you do at the end of the lesson, or the pop quiz that you do at the beginning of the lesson.
Yeah.
But during the lesson, how do you know that I've actually done, that I've got anything from your actual lesson if you're just giving me a worksheet? And then the bell goes and then we're gone. I might have gone home and read up, and there was no like
interaction.
No.
Yeah. Well, it says that this Sir Kevin Collins, the government's Education Recovery Commission, seeks to establish the minimum of 35-hour week and add 100 hours of additional schooling compared with existing timetables in many state schools and colleges.
100. Where are they getting 100 hours from? Sorry.
And where are they getting the teachers to do it is my next question. Are they because the teachers were out during that period, that they're going to get them to go in and teach? Because that's not,
I mean...
Right.
Because I thought the plan was to extend the term time. So they wasn't finishing like the first couple of weeks of July. They was going to finish the first week in August.
Yeah.
Which kind of yay, but kind of no. I don't mind the children being at home. I like being able to get up, do activities, blah, blah. But...
You do hear parents complaining that 6 weeks is too long now.
Yeah.
Mind you, 6 weeks ain't never going to be too long for the parents after all the time that they spent at home with them from last year.
After the whole year at home, yeah,
So,
no. But I don't
more.
think 6 weeks is long enough. I mean, they spend 6 weeks in class.
Yeah. And the thing is, the whole purpose of the 6 weeks holiday was for the harvest. That was why they took them out for 6 weeks. They done the harvest, brought in all the crops, and that was the whole purpose behind it.
Okay.
So obviously schooling's from Victoria times. So just over 120 years, probably around that amount of time that all children were able to go to school. Yeah. So, farmhands, whatever, they'd be out at clearing. So that's what that time period was for.
Okay.
However, this says there's a 56-page document that reports at the Times, reported by the Times, which Boris Johnson had briefed on plans about this whole extending the school time, and there's a small group of tutoring for 5 million students and professional development for teachers.
Tutoring is different then. If that's what it is, then fine.
So
but if it's not compulsory to be in school until 6 o'clock, because I'm seeing school day, it says other proposals have been considered to include an extension of the school day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's 5 or 6 p.m. That's a 12-hour shift.
But that's
hard for an adult.
Yeah, but it says here it's been working on this catch-up plan for schools and colleges. So is it primary school? Is it secondary school? Where is this? What schools? It's not very clear.
Maybe it is secondary, because it says here, Collins Recovery Plan focused on 3 T's of time, teaching and tutoring paid for recovery premium, with 12 billion paid directly to schools and targeted at disadvantaged pupils. Head teachers would be given a high degree of autonomy over how they spent the funds, which would be monitored by Ofsted rather than Department for Education directly.
But £700 per pupil over 3 years. That's not a lot, actually.
That's not. That's a couple pencils and some notepads. And I find this interesting, actually, because I actually know someone that works in... They work in the DFE? I'm sure they work in the DFE. And I had a conversation with them a while ago and asking them if they were extending the school year.
Yeah.
And they work predominantly, I think, in primary school.
Yeah.
And they said to me, no, they haven't heard anything.
And I spoke to someone as well, and she said no. But is that the department? DFE, everyone, is the Department of Education. But it says they've got. So have they got to do that spend before autumn, or have they spent that? Because even during COVID, was there was some kind of teaching going on?
Yeah, there was teaching going on. I know early years didn't have that much. They got sent home packs, a lot of the early years schools. But from like year 2 up, there were classes, like a couple of hours of Teams calls and Zoom calls and stuff like that.
Not as intense though when they're going into school.
No.
So it says it's the government. They are looking to recruit new teachers before the end of the Parliament as part of the education. So it's called Education Recovery Plan. I guess there must be an easier way to help students, or because they're talking about disadvantage. So is it disadvantage in the disadvantaged community?
Yeah.
Or is it disadvantage in the fact that the ones that are disadvantaged in education?
This is disadvantaged community. Do you know why I say that? Because those parents that are, or those communities that are going to like private schools and things like that, they most probably would have closed, but their tutoring, they'll have access
Private
to tutoring
tutors,
and things like that. Whereas children who are just going to state schools that may not have the funds to support tutoring for their child, for their children, that's what I think they're talking about when they're referring to disadvantaged, because every single child was disadvantaged during COVID. It's regardless of whether they were teaching from home or they were homeschooled or whatever. The government knows that 50% of these children, at least, the parent struggled, and no child won't do no homework.
The funny thing is we done a group, didn't we? Like a group of parents with the children, but no one really tapped into the group.
I feel that was partially because they didn't really understand what it was for.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But then not all of them are also, they don't speak English.
Okay.
So you let them know what things are available and stuff like that.
But it would have been good to get into little groups and learn as groups of children so that the kids could still see each other and all of that kind of stuff. They were still doing
Zoom at that point, weren't they? Because it was the second time round.
Yeah.
So they did still see their colleagues on Zoom.
Okay.
Even though
it's tough, but some
Mummy,
parents...
I'm fed up of Zoom. I'm not doing it anymore. She's so fed up of Zoom.
Who isn't fed up of Zoom? Come on, guys. Come on. I met someone for the first time coming off a Zoom call. She's so beautiful. You can't see her. You know, we can't see anyone on that little screen, you know. And it was really nice. But Collins' report argues that the UK as a whole had the longest closures of schools and universities combined in Europe. So we had the longest closures. And many students in England missed around 23 weeks of school closures during the pandemic, which cost the economy at least 100 billion in lost productivity. Where do they get that from?
Can I say as well, when it talks about universities, that I feel that it is completely unacceptable that students still paid full fees.
I think, they need to give them their money back.
And were made to learn from home, because I've been, one of my friends is in her final year now, and she was making the point that now they're online, whereas before you could just go to the tutor and the lecturer after the session. She's like, now we got to email them. They don't reply to emails. I
recall that whole last module that I did, that was self-taught.
Yeah.
We not teach us not one lesson as regards to professional standards. We had to go off and do it ourselves. You're paying for a service, but it's not being fulfilled. Yes, and the thing is, I don't know how they lost 100 billion, because maybe it's through student loans or whatever.
No, but they still get student loans because students were still in uni.
Doing it on Zoom or Teams?
No, doing it on, here's your work module is online. Go and read the work.
I think that they should at least give them half off of what
But then
they'd normally pay.
that 100 billion they'd claim would be more.
Out of order. What are your thoughts out there, listeners, about the school day being extended in England? There's been a leak that because of COVID, that they want to extend school hours, school, college, university. What are your thoughts on that? Let us know, and we'll see y'all in 5. Oh, wow. Sounds of Helen Baylor there. I love that song. It is such a beautiful song. It's a very spiritual song. And we know the Almighty brings an oasis, right? Rains down an abundant blessing upon all of us. And it's such a beautiful thing. When we go out there, the sun, priceless. The views, when you look at the trees and all that stuff, it's absolutely amazing. And we have to give thanks, right?
Of course.
And definitely. We know, who ya bless, no man can curse. Right? So, Lily, we posed a question at the beginning, at the top of the show, highlighting or asking that if you break up with someone, is it all right for your friend or anyone yes, outside of your circle to date your ex?
My friend wouldn't.
Your friend wouldn't?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we know our friends.
Yeah. It's kind of like, it's an unspoken
We'd like
rule.
to know. No, that's not true. We'd like to say that we know our friends.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Okay, because what can we say?
No, it's an unspoken rule. I think I've had this conversation many a times with many a people, and they have got differing thoughts.
Okay.
But no.
It's just
you don't date your friend's ex.
Because then if you do, you're going to go and think back over time and think, well, was that all that going on all along?
Yeah.
That it's going to open up so many...
And it's not even that. It's like, while they were with me, while you was with me, was you looking at her? Or while he was with me, was you looking at him? Like, it's just... It does a lot. It does a lot to mess with your head. And then, you know me, I think further.
Yes.
Now you're my friend. I have to...
Supposedly.
Don't have to, but I'm trying to be accepting of your partners. You gonna want that person in my house? No. Because there's obviously a reason why we're not together. So why would I want them in my house?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Because we had a bit of a discussion with John before he left out. He says, well, I'm done with you, so it doesn't mean nothing anymore, so why not?
No.
So why not?
It doesn't matter if it doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that... No.
Because this article...
You just don't.
This article, it says it was the woman, she's highlighting that she's sleeping with her ex and it's amazing. However, she feels guilty as she's friends with his wife.
But this is what I mean. Like, she's... That's not a friend. Because not only is he cheating on his wife now, because she says I'm friends with his wife, which means he's still married to his wife, right?
Yeah.
So you broke up with this person married your friend, let's say they wasn't even friends. He got married.
Yeah.
And you and her are now friends. I don't know how that would have happened, but now you and her are friends.
Mind you, it wasn't her friend before they got married, so it is a totally different kind of scenario. But this is where I kind of thought, is it all right to date your friend's ex? But
then she says they weren't friends in the beginning.
Yeah.
But she says I'm friends with his wife, which means they're friends now. I don't even know how they've become friends, because how have her and her ex? I mean, you know. He's cheating on his wife with you.
So they split up 2 years ago, but remained friends on social media. We had dated for 10 months, seeing each other as a couple, or seeing each other a couple of times a week, and spending romantic weekends together. I don't want to ruin my ex's marriage, but sex is great. She's a 32-year-old car showroom receptionist, and the ex is a salesman, aged 36.
So do they work together?
Looks like it.
Hey.
So they're a car show person, and the ex is a salesman. She's a receptionist. So yeah, that's one scenario.
Oh, they don't work together. He left his job and found somewhere else to work.
Okay. But when you think about it, what are your thoughts out there, listeners? Do you think it's right for someone to date a friend's ex-partner? Or is it all right? Let us know. 07895 134 713. So it is a bit of a triangle there, isn't it? I
say this so often and I hate it, but women are so snaky. And I had this conversation yesterday with someone, and it's not, you know, they're when you're in a relationship with someone, you say, oh, you have to trust that person and it doesn't matter if they're texting and blah blah blah. And I always say this, I said this to my husband, I said this to, you know, my friends when we have this conversation. When they go out, say they go raving or whatever, it's not you we don't trust. It's the other women out there for this exact reason. Because she knew he was married. And he texted her. And instead of her being like, he's a married man, why is he texting me?
Yeah.
She continues, she
accommodates him. Yeah.
And then she takes it too far. He's an idiot, but she takes it too far. And this is what I mean by men have to be so careful when they're in a relationship, because you can text someone unintentionally with no intent in it, just being a nice friend or whatever, and that person takes it, they like me, level, and then you're this back and forth, let's meet up, let's go for a drink, let's and then before you know it,
that's it. And that's the thing, isn't it? It's our intentions, really. I mean, if it's the fact that I don't know if you'd be able to remain friends, like you said, there will be lots of awkward moments, lots of awkward situations that you might come up against, and you don't know how that person treated you. They're your ex for a reason. Your friend, you probably divulged a lot of your secrets, because that's what we do. We divulge secrets to our friends. So why would they want your sloppy seconds in that sense? Yeah. And
after they know how they would,
So really, and that makes you think, well, maybe they liked them all along. They wanted them all along, but, you know, there was...
And I've been around situations whereby someone I know has broken up with someone and their friend has started dating their ex. I called it from the beginning. I said, this person is around because...
Yeah.
And it so happened, so said, so done. They ended up in a relationship together. But my thing was, I found it very hard because I was quite close to the ex. And I found it very hard to not look at the new partner without this, you're only around for one reason.
Yeah, it's wrong.
And as nice as that new partner is, you just can't get your head around.
Do you have a different level of respect for them? Do you have any respect?
I don't have any respect for them.
Yeah,
because I know that you were like, even if you were sincere friends, you still had ulterior motives when you was around my man. Do you know what I mean? Like we were friends, or so called, and the moment we broke up, you jumped in my seat and it wasn't even cold yet. How can you have any respect for that person?
And then you obviously wouldn't want to remain friends with them.
It's very hard. It's because you're always going to think in the back of your head, like,
were you thinking that all along? Did you like them all along? And that is the next part of the conversation, isn't it? Because then, are you able to trust that person?
No.
Around your next fella? Because I guess there are some women out there that their whole intent is to just, if you say met someone, is to just break you up and that person up.
Yeah.
And then trying to get one up on you. Or, you know, and that's definitely isn't a friend, is it? But there's a lot of people out there that
green-eyed people.
Yeah, they're looking and they're not happy with, go and find your own. You should be beautiful enough to do things on your own, you know.
But I don't think it's that. I think it's the fact that they see what you have and they want what you have, and they literally want what you have because they think that's the only person that can give it to them.
Right.
And I have, you know, that people say to you, oh, don't never leave your man around your friends and all of this kind of stuff. And I am that person that, maybe I'm naive to think that I have friends that I can.
Yeah.
We've got a caller.
Yeah, carry on, Lily.
There are friends that I can feel comfortable with leaving the room and you know, them being in the same room as my partner, as my husband. But there are other people that if I'm walking out of the room, why are you still sitting down? Let's go.
Hi Dee, how you doing?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. Good show so far. Good show so far.
Hey.
Right, you know me already. I'm always on the, well, not always on the other side, but sometimes when I hear people talk, there's this ownership of people. You don't own nobody. If you break up with somebody, it's done. Okay. Now, is this okay between? So actually, you don't even actually need your partner, your ex-partner's permission to do whatever you choose to do. Or so does the other person.
Yeah, but if it's your friend,
it is down to friends, right? And trust me, I've been in that situation.
Okay.
Where a friend moved to an ex, even down to a stage where I remember. This was many years ago. This was back in, like, for instance, back 90. I can tell you the year. It was actually 96. And me and my mate went out. We went up to Newcastle, okay, and we was out in the club, and I met this lady, and she really was feeling me. Okay, I was feeling her. My mate, I asked him, "Come on, buddy, take the friend." He didn't want to take the friend, so he wanted the girl that I was with.
Right, but that's different.
Right?
You both met them at the same time. No.
So I turned around, like, I was okay then. So, do you know what? It wasn't even about, because it's not about ownership. Look, there's difference. When you're married, it's like, we had this kind of conversation again before, but it's on that same tip. Look, it's been known when people get married, okay, and say, for instance, the husband passes, and then usually the brother or the friend or something usually ends up getting close to that person and looking after the family.
I feel that's different now.
Okay, but I hear what you're saying is like, for instance, look, if people are breaking up on bad terms and then you're seeing them with the best friend, it's like, yeah, that's kind of off key.
Right.
But if it's like, if you all separate, and you're all happy and you're friends and you still get on okay, why is it an issue for your friend to date somebody else and to be thinking that, well, you must have been looking at my friend when I was with them at the same time? That's just like outthinking things.
Yeah, and it's quite funny because John Newman, he does say, yes, it's up to the ex, surely. So it's up to the... John Newman is a guy that's written in and has said, yes, it's up to the ex, surely. So we can all have, again, it's perspectives and where we see it from, but I guess if someone's passed over, that's a slightly different situation.
But listen to that.
Isn't it?
Listen
Compared
to how you
to...
say it.
No, mummy means
like,
passed
I
on,
don't want
passed
to eat that no more. Here,
No. I mean, if someone's passed away, you said if someone's passed away and then they look after the family member, that's like
look after the family.
Different.
That's how it used to. That's how it used to happen during the war and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
But now, if of today, the millenniums, I'm sorry to say, want to hold on to everything so much.
I feel like though. Do you not feel like though? If it was, say, like your friend saw the woman that you liked and whatever, that's calm. You've not been in a relationship with them. That's someone that you met on the day. But say like you was in an intense relationship with this person,
10 years,
maybe not 10 years, but you was in a long enough relationship with this person, and you don't end on good terms, and next thing you know, your seat hasn't even gone cold yet, and your friend is dating Your
Well,
ex.
but so you've said that scenario, but okay, if it hasn't got like for instance, like you said, the bed's still warm. You know, look, I know people sometimes they break up and they move on.
Yeah.
Some people take longer.
Yeah, but they move on with someone else, not your best friend.
Well,
not someone that you're going to see
Not
like every
necessarily.
week.
Not necessarily. It's that same scenario about the stepdad and mum getting together and all that kind of stuff. It's like, is that right? Look, if you're single and that other person's single and you like each other and you're feeling each other, why not? Why does there have to be a rule in it? Well, you know what I mean? It's not a pact that you grew up saying, right, you know what? If I ever break up with somebody, you can't date them.
I've made that pact with my
Normally,
Is that a rule? Is that a pact that
a lot of friends do make
made
that.
when you was young? When you know, you understand?
Yeah.
We see those stories where they had them as kids. Oh, you can't date my sister. Or you can't date my brother. Yeah, Kissing Booth was an example. That's a good movie to watch. Okay, so it's kind of like that. Unless you guys have said blah blah blah, but nobody really talks about. You know what? When I break up, you can't be dating my ex. You know, you don't really bring that kind of conversation up. But I know what you're saying is like is common sense, or that's how it should really be. Really, I don't have. Listen, somebody dating my ex-wife or your baby mother, it's a little bit more closer.
It's the same though, DiCarlo.
Different.
How is it different?
I'm finished it. Listen, it's a bit different, but at the end of the day, when you're done, you're done, and you both move on. You know, you just what you got to do. I respect, and I want my ex-partner to be happy. And if it means being happy with if my friend can make her happier than I did, then good on him.
Okay.
But I know what he's getting himself into. So, you understand? Yeah, I mean, it's so be on his own head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But remember what they say? One man's trash is the next person's treasure.
There you go. But we can't
You
look at people
understand?
as trash. We can't make that assumption or that judgment.
Yeah, but I don't mean it. I'm not saying that she's trash.
No.
It's
The saying you're talking about, the saying, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So thanks for your insight on that matter, because
That's cool.
sometimes it's good to hear other angles on or where people are coming from when it comes to that. So thanks for your call, my dear.
You're welcome.
Do you have any requests?
Sure.
Any requests?
Any requests?
Yeah.
Yeah, Patience.
Patience.
By what's that group called? Black Lotus. And that really good singer, DiCarlo.
Okay, I'll see if I have that one. I'll try and find it for you. All right. Okay, you have
All right, then.
Have a lovely evening.
Yeah, you too.
Take care.
Excellent show. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
See, he gave another scenario there.
To me. So let's look at the scenario of your baby father dating your friend.
Yeah.
And then, are my kids going to call you stepmom now? Like, but do you know what I mean? It's just, that to me is the same level as your friend dating your ex. They're still your ex.
Yeah. Yeah. But then it goes deeper. It is on a whole other level, because you've got a child with that person.
If it was a throwaway ex that you're not really that, we're done, I'm calm, it's cool, whatever, you do what you've got to do. But what my thing is, you still have to see this person. We might have broken up on good terms, but what if there's still feelings involved? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
No, we're not getting anywhere. You're not ready for a relationship. I'm not ready for a relationship. Let's part ways. And then you start dating my friend. That's not going to be... And your friend's going to know that. That's my thing. Your friend's going to know we've broken up, but, you know, I know how I feel. I feel how I feel about him. Whatever. If they are your I'm talking about close friend. I'm not talking about a branch on a tree that, you know, I'm talking about a close rooted friend that you tell things to. You're saying to that person,
well, they obviously
this is how I feel.
Yeah.
And then they go and start dating your man.
There's no respect.
I've got to
there,
cut you off
there?
now, because you're bringing this person into my environment knowing how I feel about this person, when I we're talking about moving on, I can't move
And
on
they
if that
know-
person's always
the
around
thing is,
me.
They know your deepest, darkest secrets in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a totally different. No, especially if you've divulged. But do you know who that happened to? Shania Twain. She knew that her husband was cheating, and she used to tell her best friend everything. Turns out that it was the best friend, and that tore her apart, because not only did she lose her husband, she also lost her best friend too. So
I have been in the situation where you've told someone something about your love interest,
yeah.
and then that person has then gone and dated that love interest. I've been in that situation.
Wow.
And it, as much as me and the person weren't friends like that, we weren't close friends, it still made me think, like, hold on a sec, I've told you all of this stuff. What have you gone back and told the person?
Oh my. I mean,
Because
it's-
we overthink things. That's what we're like.
Yeah. It's quite a touchy subject, isn't it? John has sent something in there, but I can't hear what he's said.
Yeah,
So let's have a I'll listen to it afterwards.
We'll
What
play- we'll play
take
some music and
we'll
then-
play some music and then we'll come back after the break. We'll see y'all in 5.
134-713. That's 07-895-134713.
Manage work, working, no procrastination, just earning. Really had to take that chance, now I get pounds on the net worth, looking like sterling. Seeing hella man preaching, speaking, but we both know that he ain't that person. While I run true like Jesus Christ, might just turn my verse to a sermon. Big man speaking, 2020 still see the rats them lurching. So it's 10-10 on all beats, 80% on sales and earnings. Keep it 100 with all my G's. See us all up cause we all put work in. Break bread then pop, pinkies in the bank, real talk, I can show you what a perk is.
Got the drink in my cup, yeah, you done know. Pretty girl on my right, she said she's all mine. Got the suit in my hand and I'm humble, but they can get it on site if they really wanna hide.
You understand? This just goes on and on. And that's how much work you have to put in to succeed. The long run the marathon don't come for no sprint, you know? Cause that ain't the energy out here. Still go for the good, go for the bad. Cause this shit here is the path down there for me. You understand?
Come surf my wave, got drip like ocean. Third eye open, loud pack roll, reflect when smoking. Remember the days I ain't own shit. Nowadays nothing but progress. Create, level, mix, focus, compress, delay, then process. Master them, I eat them, my like hotel. Mine on goals, sidestep those who are cold, shooting down like vultures. If it ain't money we talking, that's time wasted. I just want work, I don't want waiting, I just want perks. Don't go church so I don't sing praises. Man, just lay my verse. Let the vocals work, collect on the earnings and laying. Patience, don't know it's all about patience.
It's all about the patience. Taking my time. Not in a rush. Keep it on the high. Patience.
See me grinding for my freedom. Too many lies and I see them. Man will say he's your day one till the day comes. Was a cheap and I don't believe him. I just stay in my zone. Stay on my J's and my J's. Open my third eye spectrum clear. Can't take my spirit away. On top like it's birds eye. Emphasis on my third time. Second and first on my firm grind. Can't lose like I'm cheating. Go hard to this whole time. And even then I know I go far like zone 5. Catch me on my own vibe. Shout me BL, independent, no cosign.
It's all about the patience. Taking my time. Not in a rush. Keep it on the high. Patience. It's all about of the patience. Taking my time. Never rush. Keep it on the high. Patience.
Oh yeah, that was a request from DiCarlo, Patience, Black Lotus. And it is really all about the patience, isn't it? Because we can find ourselves in some trying situations, right, Lily?
Yes, we can.
And sadly, sometimes it's good to throw out these intersectional questions because, you know, it's like a crossroads. How would you react in certain situations and so forth? So if there's anything that you'd like us to discuss on the show, listeners, please send in the question, send in what you'd like for us to discuss. You have our WhatsApp 07895 134 713, or you can DM me at Wimbo77 or naturallylily_89, right? On Instagram.
Naturally_Lily89.
Naturally_Lily89. So just to wrap up, perhaps what we'll look at is the 10x rule. I've moved my shelves about a bit in here, so it's just there. And we're going to be moving on to a book that highlights leadership soon. So we'll be finished these ones soon, won't we?
We've got
on the 10x.
Yeah, just a couple more left.
Yes.
So we're on number 16.
Yep.
Demonstrate courage.
Oh wow! Oh, we spoke about that right at the top of the show, didn't we?
Very interesting. He was referring to Truth.
Sojourner,
He was very courageous.
Yeah.
So it says, courage is a quality of the mind or spirit that compels people to face dangerous situations in spite of fear. It's rare that people feel or are described as courageous before the event that compels them to act in this way. Rather, they're referred to as such as a result of taking action regardless of their fears. Soldiers and heroes never refer to themselves as brave before they endure hardships. As far as they're concerned, they are just doing what they have to do in that moment.
Wow. So I guess if your ex does go out with your boyfriend, they've got to be courageous to do that as well. They've got feelings, I guess. And sometimes you can't go against your feelings.
Yeah.
And in a world where we are programmed in a lot of instances, it's very hard to break traditions. It's very hard to break programming. It's very hard to break things that we feel aren't right to us, but to someone else it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just feel like I have such strong views on certain things, like the mother-in-law and the son thing. I just think there's certain boundaries that ethically we shouldn't cross. Maybe not the friend one. The friend one isn't really ethically wrong. It's just
it is an overstep of a boundary to you.
It is, yeah. It's
as
just
a friend.
How you feel, how I value friendships is I would never cross that line, and I wouldn't even entertain the idea, if that makes sense. Whereas obviously other people's value on friendship doesn't mean that they value your friendship any less. It just means that their opinions on things are obviously different than yours. But my opinion on that is so strong. Maybe it's a good thing that I've just got married friends, because it's just, I don't know, I just don't think it would be, I'm not that person that would be able to continue that friendship.
Yeah, and you do see certain things. However, it does take some sense of courage to even go into that. Yeah, as well as like Sojourner Truth speaking up when something wasn't right for her, or no, it was just downright not right, that she spoke up about it, and she went that step further and she says, you know what, dude, you want to treat me like that violently? I'll see you in court. Yeah. And she done it, and that was at a time where black people had no voice, they had no say, but she found a voice and she used it, and she says, I am a woman, or am I a woman, she asked, because everything that someone, a male or someone, the way that they were meant to treat a woman, she wasn't being treated that way.
Yeah.
And that's why she had to ask that question, am I a woman? But she was amazing. I really am going to read. There's a website. I must tell you about this website, listeners. It's very, very good. I'll put it in the link below as well. It's called the majority not minority.co.uk. And it has an amazing reading list in there. The reading list is phenomenal. And so if you are avid readers, there's some really, really good books in there. I've put them in the chat room, in the chat box, so you can tap into some of those and see what you get from them. Because, yeah, readers are leaders, right?
Yes, they are.
And mind you, Truth Sojourner wasn't, because she couldn't read. But she obviously had it all in the brain and in her heart too, isn't it? So, well, we've come very close to the end of the evening, haven't we, Lily?
It always goes very fast.
It does. 1st of June. The month's gone very fast as well.
And summer has started.
It has.
I get so
started.
excited when I see the sun, because I'm just like, beach trips and, enjoy the outside. And now we can be out.
Yeah.
We don't know when they're going to lock us up again. So now we can be out. We need to make sure we're enjoying that sun.
Absolutely. So I'm going to pose a question to you. Does violence beget violence? It's just like video.
There's a scripture you posed here. It says, put the sword back in its place. However, the scriptures also say an eye for an eye. So, I don't know. I feel like persistent violence may beget one strong retaliation. For example, your child coming home constantly just looking like they've been licked up, and then you've just had enough. If the person hits you again, you hit them back. I know that we're not supposed to do that, but in that instance, that's where frustration may lead to violence begetting violence. But it never really accomplishes anything, does it, really?
That's right, because Jesus said, if you live by the sword, you'll die by the sword. You see, it's only that I saw this video. It was a while ago, and it was of a woman. She went into a hairdresser's. Chinese man owned the shop. It was a black woman, and he stated that she'd stolen a pair of eyelashes. So he started to choke her, put in like a choke hold and everything. And he'd done it for a while. She got away, but she brought her sisters back with her, and they had mackerel tins in socks.
Sorry, should laugh.
And took it back to beat the man, and they beat the man. Yeah.
Okay, that's too much.
They beat him, but him strangling her. He tried to put in one of those choke holds that the police, he's thinking taking the law into his hands, and this was just for.
Wait, so because she didn't pay for eyelashes?
No, he said that he saw her steal eyelashes, but she said she didn't steal anything.
As in a box of eyelashes that cost £1.20?
Yeah. Yeah. This was in the United States.
Oh, mate.
So he proper put one on her, and she went and brought her ladies back. Hey, Yvonne, get the Vaseline, that kind of thing. It was that kind of thing, Oh my and they goodness. Went and they dealt with him. Yeah. Yeah, so that's
I don't feel like, this is going to sound really ratchet, but I don't feel like the anger should have been put on him. Maybe like mash up the shop a little bit, but then you're just going to get yourself in trouble.
Violence though, isn't it? Mashing up the shop.
I know, but then she should have just reported him to the police. Yeah. But given the circumstances, yeah, exactly. So you would get more kind of accomplished by hitting him where it hurts, not phically, literally just don't go in his pocket. Yeah. Then going back to beat him up with mackerel tins.
But they did. They were lacing him up. But it does say violence and hate only create more violence and hate. No matter how good the intentions are, in the immortal words of Martin Luther King, hate begets hate, violence begets violence, toughness begets a greater toughness. We must meet the forces of hate with the power of love. And that is so true, isn't it? Meet the forces of hate with the power of love. And I think that's really a nice note to actually finish on, because in the society, we spoke of being kind up the top there, didn't we? About being kind to people.
Something nice.
Or saying something nice. Was it hashtag what, Lily?
Hashtag say something nice.
Hashtag say something nice day.
Yeah.
As well as Sojourner speaking, and you said that she helped farmers, you know, done all that stuff as well, didn't she?
Yeah, helped them get jobs and things like that.
See, so I think that love always conquers, no matter what anyone says. Love is the driving, if it should be the driving force, and that is what will conquer everything. Because we see it every day we get up and the sun is in the sky.
And it doesn't just shine on one person.
Exactly. On the righteous and unrighteous is what the scriptures say. But how beautiful that it doesn't just, we don't see where all the good people are. And I don't think we would want to, it's a bit like the whole jab thing. Oh, I've got it, so I'm a good person.
Yeah.
You know, it's this differentiation and making a distinction between people.
Yeah.
And that's, it's happening in so many different ways, in colour, in taking a jab, in being fascist and a Nazi or something over there. Why? Why all the division? Why all the division?
Someone made a good point about, if you heard about the ants in a jar, and if you put red ants and black ants in a jar, they will all be fine together. But if you shake that jar, the red ants will attack the black ants because they felt like it was them, and the black ants will attack the red ants because they're assuming it was them. But no one thinks about the person that shook the jar. And we're constantly put in this battle, us against them.
Yeah. Black
against white, Asian against whoever, vaccinated versus non-vaxxers. Whereas who is the person that is shaking that jar? There is a group of people that are constantly shaking the jar.
Yeah.
And no one goes to the source. Everyone goes to the opposing side. That's not actually the opposing side.
Yeah. One point, if you get a chance, there's another documentary on Netflix called The Secrets of America. Something about the Secrets of America. It is such a good watch. And you see it go full circle and see the agenda and who the puppeteers are.
Yeah, because there are puppeteers.
Yeah, who the puppeteers are. So it's just not falling into that trap.
Yeah.
And really having our own minds.
Yes.
And like we always say, doing the research. Do the research. So beautiful listeners, we thank you so much for listening. And yes, we are here every Tuesday from 6 till 8 for the Let's Talk Drive Time show. Not forgetting as well, following me will be DJ Laro from 8 till 10 tonight with I can't remember the name of the show, but it's a great show, following us. And tomorrow we have Darnell the therapist, as well as Charlie Muir with the General Disarray and the Wellbeing Show. So really, I guess all that we have left to say to you all tonight. So thank you so much. And we will see y'all on the other side. Take care.
Good evening.